Welcome to Behind the Crown Podcast with your hosts, Brian Hudson and Josh Griffin. Sit back and enjoy these great stories and memories of the Kingsmen Quartet.
Welcome to another episode of Behind the Crown Podcast with your hosts, Josh Griffin and Brian Hudson. Brian, how are you today, sir?
Josh, I'm doing wonderful. How is things going at Griffin Manor tonight?
We're doing good. We had snow 2 years back to back. We had snow in South Georgia. Who would have thought it? But anyway, we're doing good, though.
My grandpa would say, who would have thunk it? Well,
that is right.
This podcast is dedicated to the message, the men, and the music of the mighty Kingsmen Quartet. And we are excited about the gentleman we have scheduled tonight. But before we get to our special guest on the podcast, Josh, do you have a piece of useless information tonight that we need to share with the world?
Yes. Actually, one dedicated to Mr. Brian Sanders, your buddy Skippy, as y'all call him.
Okay, Skippy, yeah.
But Abraham Lincoln was a champion wrestler and a licensed bartender. Abraham Lincoln.
Okay, I did hear he. Did you say that again? All that together again.
Yeah.
He was a
champion wrestler.
Wrestler, yes.
And a licensed bartender. Yeah.
I did not know about the bartender, but I did know about the wrestler,
How about that?
Yeah, could you imagine Abraham Lincoln getting up there and doing a promo for a wrestler? It's maybe close to Hulk Hogan type. I can't picture that, but that would be something. But
I would.
Josh, I found a piece of useless information I thought would be good for tonight. There is only one country on Earth without mosquitoes.
Really?
And it is Iceland, and no one really knows why. I do want to kind of turn serious for just a moment. We got a couple, and I meant to mention this the last episode. Raymond McKinney, the original baritone singer for the Kingsmen, fell a couple of weeks ago, and I'm thinking he's either 91 or 92. And the last I heard, he wasn't doing very well. So we would like to ask everyone to pray for Raymond. Great man. Like I said, the original baritone singer for the Kingsmen back when they were the McKinney brothers. And most recently, he sang with the Land of the Sky Boys. And just love Raymond and his family. Let be in prayer for Raymond. Also, another baritone, Parker Jonathan. I got word just a few days ago, had a series of strokes, and Parker has been driving a tour bus for a lease company out of Nashville, and apparently he had a series of strokes, and he's in a hospital in New York State. So be in prayer for both those fellas as you hear this podcast and as you listen or watch. Be in prayer for both those fellows if you can. Kingsmen, we're a big family. We're a brotherhood. We, no matter if a person spent time here a long time or just a short time, they're still our brothers, and we want to lift them up in prayer for sure. So
yes, sir.
So, all right. Well, as we move on to this episode, Josh, who is our special guest for the episode tonight?
Yeah, none other than a fine tenor singer himself. He was there with the Carolina Boy days, but Mr. Derrick Boyd.
Derrick, how you doing, brother?
Thank you for having me on tonight.
Well, man, we're glad you joined us. You and I got to travel together back in about 2005, 2006, and early 2007, off and on. You and I traveled together in the Blackwood Gospel Quartet, and
yes.
rode the bus a few times, rode in vans a few times, rode in cars a few times, and
rode on each other's nerves a few times.
Well, Derrick, we appreciate you joining us, man. We know your time at home is very valuable, and so we appreciate you taking time out to join us. We always start our interview asking, give us your backstory, because you sang and you sang in a lot of gospel group. I mean, you spent a lot of years in gospel music before you ever joined the Carolina Boys.
Hey.
And I remember the first time I saw you. My daddy used to take me to hear you sing when I was 4 and 5 years old. And
wow,
I see how this is going to go tonight. I can see that.
No, but the first time I remember seeing you sing, you were at the Dixie Melody Boys, and the Dixie Melody Boys and the Cathedrals were in Indianapolis at a place called the Marat Temple. And my brother Jim, of course, my brother Jim, he and I and the guys that we sang with went up there to this concert. We get up there and it's completely sold out. It is sold out. We can't get a ticket. I remember the promoter was on the stage and Glenn Payne come out and Ed O'Neill come out and they said, listen, you all are here for a matinee. We're going to do a special matinee for you all because you can't get a ticket for this evening. And I sat there and watched the Dixie. You all had just, the Dixie Melody Boys had just kind of reformed basically. And with all you young guys and man, you guys just evermore rung the bell that day. So
Appreciate that. That was our with the gospel music good friend Andrew Phipps
yes,
down there. And yeah, I believe didn't you all sit on stage?
I believe we did. Yes, that we did.
Folks, probably 30 people sitting on stage. That was cool.
Yeah. That was pretty cool for sure. Well, but anyway, so take us back in time a little bit and give us your backstory of where your love for music started and kind of how you got into gospel music.
Well, I loved music from an early age. I'll be completely honest with you. I was, not many people know this, but I was adopted. And my birth parents which have gone on to be with the Lord now, told me that my birth parents were both in the entertainment business. That set something off right then. I was like, I immediately knew something. Well, I found out later on, just to be honest with you again, that was not the case, but it was too late. It had already bit me. Man, that's what I was supposed to do. But anyway, I wasn't saved. And at the time, raised in church, my parents took me to church, and my dad didn't go, but he enforced it. You know what that means?
Yeah.
You're going. And so I went for a lot of years just because I was, made to go to church, was expected to go to church. But I had a love and appreciation. I wanted to be a rock star.
Okay.
Line. I had already picked out my name, and I was supposed to be Derrick Blue.
Derrick Blue.
Derrick Blue was going to be my name. I picked that out, but unfortunate for me, I didn't have any parents that was going to support that and go with that. I had an opportunity to get on Star Search during that time. That was the first musical reality show.
Yeah.
A gentleman that was a booking agent for Cheap Trick, the rock group, was living here in Greenville, had gotten saved and got completely out of that. And he said, "I'll help you get on Star Search." He said, "But let me tell you, you don't want to get in that music. It's just not good. You'll be dead." He said, "Why don't you get into Christian music?" He said, "Anybody should get into that." That's what. I come to find out later how true he was. But
yeah.
I said to him then, I said, "Man, I can't do that. I'm not a Christian, and I may not be a Christian at this time." I was like maybe 20 years old. I said, "Oh, I know enough about the Lord that I'm not going to do that just because maybe I can't." But around the age of 23, I was visiting church on Friends Day in Washington, North Carolina. At that time, the pastor was Jack Lassiter, a well-known.
I know Jack.
He's gone on to be with the Lord now, but he was in the church, but went on to be a well-known evangelist and a mentor in this area.
Yeah.
And I was even raised Baptist. I was raised Pentecostal, so I was visiting that day on Friends Day, Happy Day. And so it was if Brother Jack had titled his sermon, "This one's going out for Derrick Boyd today."
Yeah,
and it went out to me. And I sat there at 23 and I thought, well, I'm not a rock star yet. I haven't been discovered. Probably not going to be in Eastern North Carolina. And I said, man, I feel like I just had tried everything on the shelf, it seemed like, except for Jesus. Shame on me.
Yeah.
So I made a decision and went forward that morning. And I remembered after I got saved there with Brother Jack Lassiter, I kind of asked the Lord a question. I said, can you use me?
Yeah.
Can you take the talent you gave me and use me? And boy, I had no idea. The phone started to ring. That was way before cell phones and all the internet stuff today. But people were saying, "You want to sing with this local group, this and this." So it is started just by word of mouth, and people like to sing and going to hear other groups. Next thing you know, I've joined the group and we're practicing 2 or 3 times a week, and I'm getting into that. Getting that.
Yeah.
I wound up being with a group that won a couple of local competitions called the Royalman.
Yeah. Okay.
And then we decided to go to the big, as we called it, the granddaddy of them all in Nashville, Tennessee, at the
Yeah.
National Convention. And out of 90 some participants in the group division, we won first place that year.
Wow. Okay.
Got to go up to Roger Bennett's studio up in Ohio and record an album. And man, it went from there.
Was that Eagle One? There was that Eagle One?
One. Yep.
Yes. Okay.
But the group was the Royalman, and it wasn't long after that I got a phone call to I wanted to do it as much as I possibly could.
Yeah.
And boy, did that come true as well. I joined. I remember getting an answer machine. Remember when we had those?
I remember those.
Let's go on with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I spoke to 2 or 3 different people in different groups. Bride Free was one. I gave them a little bio and a cassette tape with some songs on it and some things like that, pertinent information, and passed out packages. I gave one to Brian Free. I sent one to the Singing Americans. And I saw Ed O'Neill and the Dixie Melody Boys. He had just regrouped, went back to Southern. And so I said, man, I need to get me an answer machine in case somebody calls and I'm not here. I don't want to miss that call.
Right.
So I remember it was on a weeknight. The phone rang and said, hey, this is Derrick Boyd. This is Ed O'Neill, Dixie Melody Boys. And I just froze like a deer in the headlights, just looking at that answer machine. And I about let him go through the whole message. And somebody said, well, pick it up. And I was like,
yeah, pick it up.
Try out like cool and everything. That's how I got started. But I'm so glad now that, I've told people many times, I want to be a rock star. And I wound up singing for the brightest star of them all.
Yep. That's right. That's exactly right.
Derrick, tell us about your audition for the Carolina Boys, if you don't mind, please, sir.
Well, I would if there was one.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
That's kind of interesting. There was not an audition.
Okay.
At the time, it was one of the fastest revolving doors of groups that I've heard in all of Southern gospel music. I was actually in a 9th week filling in with the Palmetto State Quartet.
Okay, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, a bit different. I was there with Tony Peace and
Yeah.
Jeff Pearls and those guys. I think Andrew Ishii was still there.
Right.
And a little bit different quartet style than I had been with the Dixie Melody Boys. They were singing a little bit more older style than what we were doing.
Yeah,
actually.
right.
And really digging it and into it, and was thinking, we were all getting along great. I was thinking, hey, this might be my next position. I was actually hoping for that. And so I got a phone call after about that 9th week from my old buddy, Ray Dove.
Okay.
And a message on my phone. He said, hey, Bo, you need to call Ray Reese. You need to call Ray Reese. You didn't tell me why I need to call Ray Reese. I heard it on the message, and I went, why do I need to call Ray Reese? I mean, up to the point I knew who Ray was, and I'd sung the program. Right. And then next thing I know, I'm getting another phone call from 2 or 3 other people and said, you need to call McCrae Dove. Well, he's already called. And he said, you need to call Ray Reese. So I'm like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
And I did not know. I got up, McCrae have you talked to Ray yet? I said, oh, I'm trying to answer all these other calls.
Right.
They're going around, and I'm just going, what is going on? And so I finally called Ray and said, are you available? You can't do Ray without doing Ray.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
You available to go next weekend and ride with us? And he said, I think it's already been worked out. And I said, what do you mean it's been worked out? Little to mine, not McCrae had been talking to Jerry Martin. Martin is originally from the Bladenboro area. That was the core of guys that grew up. And wanted Jerry to come and be a part of the original book. So that kind of released John Rulepaw. Well, he was kind of interested because of the style of Palmetto State. He was interested. It was close to what he was already doing going to Palmetto State. So that kind of opened the door for me to go ride with the Carolina Boys.
Okay.
I still didn't know. So I said, okay, well, I'll go.
Yeah.
really knowing. And I remember like the first evening I got there, it was like a 4 or 5 day trip up north somewhere.
Right.
I think it was Ray asked me, said, "You got any CDs yet?" I said, I thought, man, that's mighty nice. I just got here. He's giving me CDs. I said, no. He said, well, make sure you get some CDs. One other time, they got your CDs yet? I said, no, I'll get some. Oh, man,
Yeah.
I've got me up to sing Glory Road and a couple other songs, each night or whatever. Jerry was there.
Okay.
Sunday night comes around. I'm sitting in a Wendy's with Jerry at the table there eating. He said, talking about where he was going. I said, well, that's great. I said, when you going? He said, well, tonight was my last night.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So, who's going to take your place? He said, well, I reckon that's why you're here. See you yet? I promise you, that's how it happened. John Rulepaw went to Palmetto.
Yeah.
I'm still confused telling it, I think. Jerry went to Dove Brothers, and I went to the Carolina Boys all in the same weekend.
Wow.
This week, everybody was gone.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, not really an audition. I guess when I was singing Glory Road a couple of nights, that was it.
That was your audition. You just didn't know it, you know?
That has to be one of the most unique audition stories, I guess you said, we've heard so far since doing this podcast.
Well, and that's kind of how it goes when somebody moves in gospel music. It's like a ripple effect. If somebody leaves and goes someplace else, then you got to fill that spot. And so, sometimes it's revolving chairs, I mean, really.
Yeah. That's right.
Most times somebody's already got maybe somebody in mind. Somebody's kind of putting a little feeler out here, but you have to be careful because if you're putting a little feeler out, you might be ready to go before you're ready because it could come.
That's true.
Wow.
That's exactly right. Derrick, I've got some stats on you, brother.
Okay.
You joined as tenor for the Carolina Boys in 2002. And then later that year, y'all recorded the record Ready, the recording Ready. And you had a top 10 song off that album called I'm Ready to Go. And that was a kicking song. Let me just tell you, that was a kicking song.
I'm telling you, that intro, I learned a long time ago from Eddie Crook. He's kind of the king of hooks. A lot of times it can be lyrical hooks, but music hooks are very important.
Oh yeah,
that was a hook. Like, whoa, what channel have I got this on?
Yeah. But yeah, and we have a Facebook question. We could can you ask that real quick, Josh? About that one song on there, right?
Yeah. John Barker says his favorite Carolina Boys song was If You Died Tonight. He wants to know if y'all ever staged that song live and what was the experience like?
Thanks, John, for the question. We did stage that song. Pretty much at some point, we got around to doing all of the songs on there.
Yeah.
We did stage it, but it was a powerful song. Even back when I was with them, that's been 24, almost 25 years ago now, we were still doing a lot of the older Kingsmen stuff.
Right.
When some different places you go, that's what they wanted more of.
Right.
That was still considered a real pretty song.
Yeah.
And so we did it. It was always received well. I know we enjoyed saying it kind of featured a little bit of everybody in the song.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of those pretty message songs.
Yes. And it was very unique as well. Very unique.
Yeah. Different timing on that.
Right.
That's
right.
And John also asked, what was your favorite song that you recorded on that album as well?
I'm a ballad guy. I love the ballad songs, and the very first time I heard that song on there, More Than Enough,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I had my hand up. That's me.
Yeah.
That's me.
Yeah.
I loved that big ballad song, and I still love it to this day. It's one of I'd like to re-record it. I hope to do that at some point. But
great song. Great song.
I also enjoyed. I love the old songs too, and I loved when we did that. Standing by the river.
Yeah, y'all had a great cut on that.
Yeah.
I like to kind of start off kind of playing
Yeah.
a little bit of a blues sound and then kicked in that modern sound in there.
Oh, yeah. That was good. That was a very good song.
It was my favorite song.
Okay.
And I'll mention too, that's probably my favorite album of the Carolina Boys time was Ready as well.
Yeah, it
Yes.
turned out great.
And that song, I
Language,
Call on Jesus, that's a great song too.
Strong Hand of Love.
Yeah.
I tell you that it was a very unique. I don't know if the Kingsmen ever did this way after that or whatever, but everybody had a hand in picking the songs and how we did it was unique. I was very fortunate. Ray let me go through. He told me, he said, "Cousin, take your time. I want you to go through every CD,
Yeah.
every cassette." And I promise you, this is a testament to him and to our Kingsmen. And
Yes.
they're telling our Kingsman fans that he said, "I want you to listen to every song,
Yeah.
every song." That's actually how I found that More Than Enough, and maybe
Okay.
a song or two. It's like you get a cassette and they go, "I think this one is going to be big for y'all," and you go,
Yeah.
"I don't quite hear it," but
Yeah.
anyway, so each week getting on the bus Wednesday night at midnight, maybe the next day or so, I'd have about 10 or 12 songs each week.
Yeah.
That I say, "Okay, we got a good ways to ride, everybody up front, the band and
Yeah.
everybody, and we're gonna play these songs, and from 1 to 10, everybody votes from 1 to 10,
Okay.
and including the bus driver."
Okay.
Kind of funny how the band kinda always stuck together. They like what they heard musically, and they go, "I give it a 7."
Yeah.
So you had to make a certain cut. Maybe the top 4 songs would move on to the next round, so to speak.
Yes. Yeah.
That's kinda how we picked out that album, but we brought, man, his name escapes me right now, a keyboard player.
Nick
He tried
Succi.
no, that's one of my favorites
Okay.
ever. He's
Yeah.
helped produce
Oh,
that album.
Crawford, Danny
Danny
Crawford.
Crawford.
Yes. He wrote
Yeah.
with us, and I've never had this before. He listened to us for 2 or 3 nights, listened to our
Okay.
tones, he listened to our obviously, the keys, and
Right.
was listening to those songs, and so we sat on the bus with his little keyboard, kinda ran through some of those songs, even if you
Yeah.
didn't know it, and I've never had that before where we were very prepared when we went into the studio, and it made it
Yeah.
the easiest album I've ever recorded that way.
Yes.
Well, we've said this on numerous podcast episodes. That's why it's so important, like you said, to listen to every song because you might find a diamond in the rough.
Yes, sir.
You might, on the average, hear. If a songwriter gives you 10 songs on a demo, there might be one that's worth listening to. The other ones may not be worth, doing anything. But
I
it just goes to show you, you need to listen to every one because you might find, that's like, there's several songs that a one-hit wonder songwriter. They'll get one good song and 12 bad ones, so you need to listen to them all.
That's the truth. That's the truth. I agree.
That's right.
Next question right here on the front.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. Well, I think we answered this one, Derek, but was there another favorite song that you like to sing during your tenure there with the guys?
Oh, boy. I don't know if I'm kinda jumping the gun here a little bit, but, I was fortunate enough to do one of the Kingsmen reunions while I was there,
Okay.
down in Alabama. I can't remember the city, um, and that's when I had an out of body experience.
My.
First of all, I was truthfully. Uh, First of all, I was the only tenor there that night.
Okay.
Ray was the bass, but we had, Wayne Maynard was there, uh, Ed Crawford was there,
Okay.
Big Jim was there, Gary Dillard was there, so pretty big names there as far as
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
and, I had to do the Carolina Boys set and then had to do the Kingsmen set. I say that had to do it. No, I couldn't wait to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's 2 songs that I had always wanted to do, guys. 2 songs, you can probably name them, and got to do those 2 songs with that lineup. One was doing that "Love Lifted Me."
Yes, sir.
Oh my lord, Big Jim out there, leading the folks out there, and then
Yeah.
Derrick and got to do that one, and got to do, the old Ship of Zion.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I'm telling you, when we started singing those songs, and I kind of turned to the side as we do, sometime, and I look, there's
Yes.
Wayne Maynard right here, there's Ed Crawford, and there's Ray, and there's Gary Dillard back here. I went,
Oh, yeah.
my smack me. It
Oh,
was
yeah.
an out of body experience.
Yeah.
I was like an award that was 5 foot tall. I mean, it was.
Yeah.
I'll never forget it as long as I live. You can't sing with the Kingsmen and not be a Kingsman fan at the same time.
That's exactly right.
And
Exactly right.
that was a bucket list moment right there.
That's cool. That is cool. Yeah. Those are some heavy hitters right there on the stage with you, brother.
That's our buddy.
You know what I'm saying? Did you have a least favorite song during your tenure there? And some guys didn't have it. Some guys I've asked that question, they didn't have one. But did you have one that when they'd call it, you're like,
I can't say that I do either. I mean, majority of the time, most of the time I was there, I didn't want the songs to end, but I was like, man, I know another song's coming up. I can't wait to get to that one. I mean,
right.
Singing there and as a longtime fan at the same time, those songs are just like, man, I keep on going with these. Man,
Oh,
these-
yeah.
I'm loving it.
Yeah, especially if there's songs you grew up on or that you inspired you. Those songs, man. It was it was a thrill for me to sing them old Kingsman songs. Especially the ones that off the Chattanooga Live and Live Naturally. Man, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, it's just a surreal moment when you get to sing those songs. So, well, let me ask you: did you have a favorite thing about being on the road? What was one of your favorite things about being on the road?
That's easy, Brian. People.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always to me, and it always will be about the people.
Yeah.
I love to go into the malls and shopping. We went to one of the biggest malls out there, Arizona Mills Mall, and
Oh yeah, yeah.
I love those things and get a little souvenir here and there, a little pretty something or whatever.
Yeah.
The places that people everywhere you go, they say, we got to take you out to eat so and so. And man, I don't know how we all are so big we couldn't get in a bus to everybody wants to
That's true.
and we sure but man, the people. You ride too many hours on the bus and you're sitting around, wait for this and wait for that. I couldn't wait. I was always one of those, and I'm not just patting myself on the back, but I'd get ready. Nobody had to say, Derrick, you need to get ready. Get ready.
Yeah.
Shake a hand. Shake a hand and thank people. I was standing in a church foyer and they think, you don't go to church here. You one of the guys in the group. And I'm welcoming them into the church.
Yeah.
It's always been about the people.
Right. That's true. That's very true.
Yeah.
Very true.
What about a least favorite thing about life on the road?
It's always been the people. It's always been.
I heard the other day, I heard a preacher say the other day, he said, I used to be a people person till people ruined it. And I thought, I could,
Well, still talking about the people kind of thing. I mentioned earlier, maybe before we got on air, sometimes they will stand their ground on you, buddy. They know more about what we do than we do sometimes, and that's the truth. But I've had people, they get the names wrong. When I was
yeah.
Well, how's Big Jim Hamilton doing?
Yeah.
I say Jim Hamilton or Radine Reed. How's Radine Reed doing? And you stand there, you try not to laugh. Well, yeah, doing good. But I've had people said, Derrick, what years were you with Dixie Echoes? I say, no, I didn't sing with it was a Dixie Melody Boy. And they said, no, it was Dixie Echoes. I said, no, it was the Dixie Melody Boys from 87 to 93. And they said, well, did you go to the Dixie Echoes after you left there? Or was it before? I commented, man, you're right. I didn't think anybody remembered that.
I forgot all about that. I guess
man. People would stand you down and say, yeah, I saw you. I know. I voted for you, too.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. I voted for you.
You're the reason I didn't win, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I was never nominated in that category, but you voted for me for sure.
Yeah.
So
that's good.
Back to the question of what I didn't like about the road.
Yeah.
I'd often say there's two things. You better look forward to leaving to go on the road, and you better look forward to going home.
Yes, sir.
Whenever you have a problem with either one of them,
Yeah.
you got a big problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
If
true.
you're dreading to go out on the road to go sing and what you love to do, and then you're dreading to be used of God and to minister,
Yeah.
then you're not in the right frame of mind. You need to stay home and let somebody else go. If
Right.
you're on the road having a good time and selling your product and eating with all your friends and taking pictures and doing all the quartet stuff, and then you're not really looking forward to going home, you got a big problem there too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Well, and too, once you quit in your heart, you might as well go ahead and get off the bus.
that's with
You
any
know,
job. Time to move
But-
on.
because too many guys stay and too many people stay too long, and they're so miserable, and and eventually that'll move through the bus like a mist, and everybody will be miserable because you're miserable.
Exactly right.
But
But to point it on down to the toughest part or the hardest part, it would be, those of us that have been on the road, 250 of answering the call, but at the same time, you can't be in two places at once.
that's true. That's true. And the pool of talent in gospel music is so small that it's hard. Like if you would have to take a week off to go do something, it's hard to find somebody to be able to fill your spot because there's not very many guys out there that can step in and fill in without a lot of rehearsal time.
Yep.
And most people's got real jobs and they can't get off Thursday and Friday to go and sing. That's why it's a very small pool of talent that you can call on to, hey, can you fill in for me? Yeah.
I was with the Dixie Melody Boys, and I was very, very sick, high fever. I don't even think I took a shower that evening. I just felt too bad to get out of the bunk. And it finally came
Yeah.
time I rest and get in there. I sent word up to big old Ed, and I said, "Man, I don't know if I can do it." Ed, he looked down the hallway and said, "Well, son, I don't see nobody else back there that can do it." You must-
Yep,
know,
get over and do it.
wounded or dying. Come on, you got to go.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
But also remember Ray Dean. I remember the first time was with them maybe and was out in weather about like we're having here is cold and maybe
Yeah.
ice or something. And I'm out there getting equipment stuff out there. You go, "Hey cousin, where's your hat?" I said, "Well, my hat. And I don't really wear hats that much." He said, "Yeah, you need to get a hat on your head." And then it hit me. He didn't want me to get sick.
Yeah.
Ed would tell me, "We don't want. This is not a ball team. We're not wearing
Okay.
hats on here." And then Ray was like, "Well, you can get your hat." I don't want you to get
Yeah.
sick. What's with their hats?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. This one here is from our friend Nathaniel Chapman. That name ought to ring a bell, would you? He said, "Who was your favorite kid lead singer to travel with while with the Anchorman, and why was it Nate Chapman?" On the spot.
That's about as a shameless plug as I have ever heard in
That's
my
pretty
life.
shameless, isn't it? Yeah.
When you drop your own name,
Yeah.
That's good.
he has every right. He's singing with, I believe, the Bible Tones and has been for a few years now. But I remember, bless his heart, he was up there in West Virginia. Um, he had all the talent in the world, had to want to, and he was trying to get a position when with the Anchorman, and he didn't even have a way to get back and forth. And
Wow.
and I just kept encouraging him and said, "Brother, listen, you got the talent, you got the want to. You just keep praying. God's going to
Yeah.
open a door for you, man.
Yeah.
You just got to." As a friend of mine told me not long ago, I'd been through a lot of sickness and so forth, and didn't know I'd get another chance to get back out on the road. And he said, "Derrick, just get ready.
Yeah.
Just get ready." So that's what I kind of shared and encouraged with Nate. Man, just get ready. God's going
Yeah.
to open the door for you. And look, man, he's met him a beautiful girl, and they got a baby now, and he's singing. And so,
That's wonderful.
yeah, I was a fan of his from day one. He just had a great old soul personality.
Yeah.
Good guy.
That's awesome.
Yes, sir. Brian Sexton asked, "How did the experience of Ed O'Neill University help you in your transition to the Carolina Boys? And what did you learn there at Ed O'Neill University that you took and used while with the Carolina Boys?"
My 6 years there with the Dixie Melody Boys, it truly, he's talked about this many years about the EOU, Ed
Yeah.
O'Neill University. and there was a lot of them that didn't make it past, you know, the 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 open ceremony, so to speak.
Right.
And then there's some of them that's got, you know, one of them got master's degrees there, so they, you know, I look at it like this way, in both on good counts. I learned from right from the get go, my first 6 years there with him, what to do
Yeah.
as a quartet guy,
Yeah.
and also what not to do.
Right.
Sometimes these are on a daily basis now, but you know, I was the oldest one there, and almost didn't get in the door there because I was 26 years old. Wow,
Yeah, that was
McRae,
considered older
look
for
at
those guys.
yeah, considered old in my day. But some of those guys, McRae was right out of high school, and you know, in their early 20s. So he was a big father figure, not just a road manager, but a father figure. Sometimes it was not pertaining to the road at all, not pertaining to music at all, but in life and how to be a man, how to be
Yeah.
present yourself to people. I absorbed right along with them too. You know, when I went on to other places, I was, you know, you're supposed to know how to act, know
Yeah.
how to treat people, and talk to people, stick your hand out, thank them for coming, and so if you want them to come back to see you.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll wrap it up with this segment right here. Adam Beck and AJ Jenkins asked, "What are you doing these days now?"
Check out the brand new hit by the Kingsmen, When Sunday Morning Dawned, now available on your favorite streaming platform.
I'm glad you asked the question. I alluded a little bit earlier ago about I had some health problems, and I'll try to quickly along. About 5 years ago, I was the only guy that ever rejoined the Dixon Valley Boys
Right, correct.
back in 1993, and then I returned in 2019 or 20.
Yeah.
So I'm the only guy that ever left and come back. I saw a need there, and Ed was having a tough time. He'd had an accident, a different regrouping kind of thing, and so by gosh, I was only there just a few short months. And I remember I was up in Indiana or Illinois somewhere when that came across worldwide or nationwide about COVID.
Yeah.
And I remember standing outside, looking at the church sign. We had already gotten word that we had lost that night's date and the next weekend.
Wow.
And I literally, probably like a lot of you all did, I was like, "Uh-oh,
Yeah.
this don't look good." And so, better part of a year, I didn't have nothing to fall back. I mean, by this point, that's all I've done for 30 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't have a vocation to fall back on. I was scrambling trying to find I wound up working at a golf course. Um, and then I got COVID, and the
Yeah.
first time was the absolute worst. I spent 5 days in Kinston, North Carolina hospital, and then I got it 2 more times after that. That was bad enough, and then I kinda seemed to get myself together
Okay.
and get through that. My wind was not really that great. I could still sing, but I couldn't hold my wind that good.
Yeah.
I thought, "Well, okay, I'm working, got something going on. I don't know when this is gonna break. I'll get back to sing." Um, about the time I started feeling better, I took a nosedive,
Mm.
and for about a year and a half, I literally had to go ahead I had to retire, take an early retirement to get some help coming in financially, and then I couldn't work at all. I didn't have any energy. I didn't have any breath. I didn't have nothing, and I sat around here thinking, This is it." I remember I was in a grocery store, and I said, "God, if you're through with me, then why am I still here?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why am I still here?" And it was about a year and a half, you know, of a dark, dark time for me because that's all I'd ever done. Now I think
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna get to do that. Now I can't even work physically. But thank God, the first of last year, almost a year ago this week, first of last
Okay.
year, the clouds rolled back. That now it's not without a lot of prayer. Everywhere I went, and
Yeah.
remember on social media, I was asked to please
Oh, yeah.
pray for me. For this past year, I hadn't been like my old self,
Yeah.
and my breathing's better. I can
Good.
still feel a few things. The doctor says, "You're 65. You're gonna feel those things," but
Yeah.
But it's sickness. I feel I'm back. Praise the Lord.
Yes.
Amen. Praise
Yeah.
the Lord, son.
Amen.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's right.
3 singers to do a scrap iron quartet with.
Woo.
Who would you pick? Of course,
Well,
of course, you'd be singing tenor. You know?
Yeah.
absolutely. Well, there'd be several guys that I've sung with before that I'd love to sing again one more time with.
Yeah.
You know, you and I've sung together.
Yeah.
Even it was with Berman Porter and even old Jonathan Sawyer would come up there and sing and
Oh,
Six
yeah.
and Mark Blackwood. I mean, we had a good sound there.
We did.
Uh,
We did.
but I remember my buddies Craig Singletary and Bill Shivers. We had a
Oh,
great
yeah, man. You guys are
heaven.
stout now.
Yeah.
I would love to sing again with those two knuckleheads. Just, kind of, I did a reunion a little bit ago with the Dixie Melody Boys a few years
Right.
back down at the beach. And man, it was like we could have hit the road that night.
Yeah.
We could have gone and sung again. So I had three singers, that 3 or 4 singers that when I first started singing, that tenor singers that I listened to: Pat Hoffmaster, Kirk Talley,
Yeah.
Little Ernie,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and Rick Strickland.
Oh, yeah.
Those, they were very different, but I thought if I can hit those notes, if I can do some of the things that they're doing, maybe I got a chance in this thing. Man, I love Pat Hoffmaster. He was so sad, broken hearted.
Oh, yeah, man.
Off those notes like that. I was like, Lord, look at me.
Oh, yeah, son.
Love
What a
that.
voice. What a voice.
What Jack Tony did with his lead book. But I thought maybe if I could emulate those guys, and I think a lot of people do that.
They
Uh,
do.
it-
They do. They do. But what I like about your voice, you always had a distinct voice. You didn't sound like anybody else, you know?
What do you mean, Vern?
Yeah.
Hey, take that 2 different ways. You don't sound like nothing I've ever heard. Let me
Yeah, okay. Let
Oh,
me
man.
reboot that.
you asked about what I was doing now, and I got to put this in there because I'm
Yeah.
really excited about it. I am working like a part-time job. It's like 20 hours a week with
Okay.
a transportation company here in Greenville,
Yeah.
through the county, and it's a great thing to be a part of. It's just 4 hours a day. It helps keep my mind together.
Right.
Enjoying it, thankful to have it. But I'm also have been rehearsing with a new group, and by the time this comes out,
Yeah.
it will be released. And I got the blessing to go ahead and say it tonight, if I will. But one of the, I'm telling you, Brian, I've been a part of some good sounding groups.
You have. You have.
I believe, and this is a regional group, but it's one of the best sounding groups that I have ever sung with. I do believe.
Wow.
And they're from
Okay.
here, Eastern North Carolina. They've been singing about 20, 25 years, called Adoration Quartet.
Yeah, I've heard of them. I've heard of those guys.
Terry Carter and Chris Burlick, I think, kind of spearheaded that years ago.
Right.
I
Right.
had heard days, and Corey Wilson is in there. Corey Wilson was a great, great singer.
No, Corey.
We have rehearsed several times, and I'm telling you, it's really, really good. I'm proud of the sound.
Great.
They're from Goldsboro, and I just
Yeah.
thank God for maybe my last ride, but that's all right because it sounds great, and I'm looking forward to it.
Looking forward to hearing y'all. Yeah. Tying in on what Brian mentioned about the singers, any other particular singers that you'd like to mention that inspired Derrick Boyd over the years?
I'll have to say, I'll tip my hat. I have to him many times, personally, and I've told other people, and I've tried to emulate the kindness that was bestowed upon me. I've tried to do to other, as Brian said, up and coming singers, and that was Brian Free. In those early days when I made that little package of cassette tape, and a little bio and a picture of myself, and I gave out those. I had those little packages in my car everywhere I went. If I saw a group and I felt like I should
Yeah.
give one, I'd go to the car and get one. Well, I remember going and seeing Gold City in Florence, South Carolina. Midnight Cry was out, but it wasn't even on charts yet, so that gives you a time frame.
Yeah.
And naturally, they sang that song there that night, and I mean, just blew everybody away. First time I'd heard it live,
Yeah.
and I thought, man, maybe I'll go to the car and get that. But when I got to the record table, they were just surrounded by people, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
I thought I'm not going to bother him. And some
Yeah.
said, "Man, maybe you should." And I thought, no, it's raining outside. And I spoke to Brian very briefly, and I don't know, maybe the Lord impressed upon him or something. And I headed on out to the car. I wasn't even going to get it. I was just going to go ahead and leave.
Yeah.
So help me with that place crowded. I heard somebody say, "Derrick." And I turned around and he had walked out into the rain and said, "Have you got a phone number or something that you can leave me in case I run across anybody?"
Man.
Yeah.
What? So I went to the car and got that little package and gave
Yeah.
he left a bunch of people.
Yeah.
And I gave him that package. And subsequently, a few weeks later, Gold City sang with the Dixie Melody Boys out in Oklahoma.
Okay.
Wherein Ed O'Neill asked him, said, I know, tenor singers, no other tenor singers, leads, no other leads, and so
Yeah.
forth, so forth. We talked together. He said, I'm looking me a tenor singer. And, you know of anybody? Brian said, yeah, matter of fact, I just talked to somebody just a few weeks ago, and I think he's over there from around y'all's area.
Yeah.
He went to Gold City's bus and got that package. And see, I had
Yes.
already seen Ed O'Neill around Elizabeth City, North Carolina, giving him one prior to me giving one to Brian. And so Brian went to the bus and brought it back to Ed, and he said, "Well, I already spoke to that young man." He said, I've got one of these packages too." So that's how I got the phone call from Ed O'Neill.
Oh,
And so
wow. Okay.
I have thanked Brian many times in those early years. I said, "Man, I appreciate you walking out in the rain." And I've tried to do the same thing, guys,
Yes.
if I can get in this, keep coming to gospel concerts, keep
Exactly
talking,
right.
put your name out there, and making your little depot and your little
Right.
package together. Be ready.
Yeah. Because just well as I do, you've been in this industry a lot longer than I have. Usually groups just like Ed will ask other groups. That's what happens. Do you know of somebody before they release it and they put it out there to the world that, hey, we're looking for a piano player or a bass guitar player or a tenor or a lead or whatever, baritone, they'll ask other groups first. Do you know of somebody? Because we're going to, and so so back in my day, when I was with the Kingsmen my first tenure, man, I had a file folder at the Kingsman office of singers that had given
Right.
me their name, demos. I, and now sadly, I don't know a lot of the guys coming up these days, the new talent. But back in the day, I had a list of singers and piano players and drummers and people that I had met on the road and said, hey, if you're, and because you never know, you can help somebody by doing that and pass up, pay it forward, that kind of thing.
Yep. That's
Yeah.
right.
I also have a list of people that just wanted to ride sometimes. They'd say, "We want to go with you. We'll help you out."
Yeah.
We'd have some to ride every now and then, and they would get a new appreciation for what we do. We'd have them
Yep.
come ride with us for about 4 or 5 days, and they get back home. They had to take 2 or 3 days off of work to get over it. They said, "I don't know how you guys do this."
Exactly. Yes.
Oh man, goodness.
Did you have a favorite lineup with the Kingsmen if you were a Kingsman fan?
Well, definitely would have to be the Hamill, Crawford, Little Ernie,
Okay.
and Red.
Okay.
That was Shake Hands with a Poor Boy, and How Do You Do?
Oh yeah.
That group there.
Yeah.
I've never heard a bad, different ones come along, got different styles, singing the same songs. I got to sing stand up.
Yeah.
We all put our little twist, but everybody kind of wants to emulate some of those guys that came
Right.
before us. Want to hit it a certain way, try to keep that. I couldn't wait to do some of those and keep it Kings.
Yeah.
I didn't want to change. I don't want guys go with a new group and they want to try to change the sound. But I have to say it was little. I was a big Little Ernie fan, and
Yeah.
um, uh, Jim Hamill, of course. He
Yeah.
such. Yes, I got to travel with him just a few times there. He's funny as could be. We were riding on that Gray Eagle before they got. I was with them when they got the bus that they're still in now. That Toby.
Yeah. The
Gotcha.
Black Butte.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was on that Gray Eagle, and it had leather seats. And Hamill would sit up there, all propped up with his golf club up there, trying to
Yeah.
hold himself. And somebody hit the brakes a little bit, and he'd scoot right down. He'd go, "Ray, I can't sit. You don't have to be be careful. I can't sit in this seat like this. These leather seats. Yeah, I was very fortunate to. It kind of fell the way it fell. I don't know how it particularly did, but um, I was allowed to introduce the guys.
Okay.
But even more important to me, I was allowed to kind of set up the song, so to speak, sometime. You
Okay.
know, I do the in between
Yeah.
ministry kind of thing and leading and
Right.
stuff. And Brandon was back there kind of sometimes he would go, tell me what song they want to do or whatever, but he'd look at me and hold his sticks up like, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
So I try to follow the Holy Spirit. I promise you I did. And I appreciated Ray as many years as he had and those guys allowing me coming in to do that.
Yeah.
We were somewhere around Dyersburg, Tennessee one night, a very nice church, Saturday night concert. And we were singing, just rip snorting, having a good time. And I thought we were hitting on all cylinders, but nobody was
Okay.
really reacting. And
Okay.
I didn't feel in my spirit that it was us. I felt we were sincere. We were having a good time. Something was kind of over the congregation holding it down.
Okay.
And when we
Okay.
took a break, we went back into the fellowship hall back there to take a break, and we, come back and tell them about their CDs a little bit right quick. And I went back there, and it was just kind of bothering me. And I remember looking at Brandon. I said, Brandon, I said, don't you guys beat me up. Just hear me out and go with me one time.
Yeah.
I said, the singing's over. The singing's over.
Mm.
Okay. I said, just go with me. I said, we may do something later. I said, but right now, the singing part is done.
Okay.
We went back. I think we said very little bit about the product or whatever. And I told the people, I said, I think God's up to something, but I think the devil's been trying to block it, whatever we've been doing. And I'm not trying to say we have the big head and we feel like you all should be reacting. That's not it. But something,
Yeah.
something is weighing the service down. And God told me to just stop. We've got plenty more songs to do. We've already sung a lot, but I said, we've got more songs. But right now, if you wouldn't mind, singing is over for just a minute.
Okay.
Let's just have a word of prayer and see what God wants. And
Yeah.
I promise as I'll sit here, we had a word of prayer and asked everybody to join in. And I said, if anybody's got something that's going on that is maybe weighing you down, that want to give you an opportunity. This is not necessarily an altar call, but it is if you want one or you need
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
I promise you, with both hands up, Pastor came forward,
Wow.
and his daughter came forward.
Okay.
I went, uh-oh. And some other folks of the church came forward. And I didn't know until later on the family had been kind of upset with the daughter because she was choosing to move away for college. Not
Okay.
a big thing, but it was
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
them. And instead of going to college there where they wanted her to go, she wanted to go somewhere else, and it was causing a big time. They were just hurt. They had been fighting.
Yeah.
They were fighting. So thank God that's all it was.
Yeah.
But it was enough that they were not involved. When the preacher's not involved, the folks are not.
Yes, sir. You're
Mhm.
exactly right. If the
When the
preacher's just
preacher-
sitting there, they're going to sit there.
I've seen him, and you've seen him when the preacher. First of all, I've been places where the preacher took a night off. Come
Yeah.
on,
Yeah.
don't take a night.
Mhm.
Get there and get involved. Comes and sits there, and he looks like he's thumbing through his Bible looking for something, or what. He's not involved. People don't get involved.
They won't.
But
They won't.
what's going on? But anyway, they wound up hugging each other and snotting and crying, and
Wow.
and then I said, I tell you what, let's sing something, and we just
Yeah.
turned it right back up. So I'll never forget something like that.
Well, that's an awesome story because
Yeah.
there are times when you're supposed to sing, but also times when you just need to be sensitive to the leading of the Holy Spirit, because whatever He says will be right. It may not
Yeah.
make sense to you. When you told those guys to hold on, just go with
Mhm.
me, they probably thought Derrick has lost his mind. You know,
Well, they
but
challenged me. They didn't challenge me. They
Yeah.
honest to God, they trusted me.
right, that's exactly right. They
And
trust you.
I appreciated that. They knew
Yes.
that I was sincere about it, that I wasn't trying to just, we've heard some before say, "Let's get out of here. We're done here."
Oh, yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah. There's times I have said that to my wife. I said, "Honey,
Yeah.
me and my wife went to a church one morning, and the first song right out of the gate, man, they're standing there looking at us like they wanted to throw us through the back window."
Yeah.
And I looked at her and I said, "Honey, it's going to be the longest 45 minutes of your life. We just got to sing and get this over with." But that happens.
Yeah.
So
Yes, sir. Yeah.
well, let me ask you, Derrick. You talked about Ray a little bit. Do you have a funny Ray Reese story?
Yeah.
Something that
Yeah. He and I would sit up late nights after the guys had gone to bed and I love doing it. I love keeping up with kind of what I'm doing now. I keep it up
Yeah.
with books and so forth. I was in charge of keeping those, we call them the caskets,
Yeah.
full of product. We had two of them, and that. And I made a little sheet out, handwritten. He didn't want nothing on the computer. He wanted to be able to sit there and look at
Oh,
it
yeah. Yeah.
and dicker with it, as he's called it. And so I kept a running count all the time of this sheltered project. I think you were on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ones, and every night I could tell him, well, we sold 3 of these and 4 of these. He loved that. He loved being able to keep up every night with what he
Yeah.
had, what we sold. And he said, "Now, guys, if you guys want to give something away," he said, "I appreciate it. You just keep it at a minimum." He said,
Right. Right.
"Be sure to tell Derrick because he's keeping up with this.
Yeah.
We don't, sometimes they forget. He said, just let Derrick know if you have to give something a couple away." But his was just a day to day funny kind of thing. He was funny, not being funny. He just was funny.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
He wasn't trying to be funny. He just
But
fun.
up there late at night, some 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and he'd count the cash, and I'd sit there and put it on the
Yeah.
calculator.
Right.
And then I'd hand him the calculator, and I'd count the cash.
Yeah.
Then we do the checks the same way. And then we revert. He did everything double.
Yeah.
And then we do the credit card receipts. So some nights we're sitting there, even with the cash, and it's 2 o'clock, and he's trying to double count everything. I'd look over there. He had a pretty good sized handful of cash. His glasses are about right here.
Yeah.
Don't know how they were hanging on. Glasses were hanging on, mouth wide open, and dollar bills are just falling out of his hand.
Oh,
He's fast asleep. Let's try. Or let's do it again tomorrow. But I do have to share one thing I did. I'm a jokester, obviously, and a prank.
Yeah.
If I ever found out something that really got you, I didn't want to offend nobody, but if I found out something to give you some ammo, I found out that Randy Crawford, and I'm not sure if you are like this too, but he despises clowns.
Yeah.
What?
So I found out that Crawford didn't like clowns. And so I found one of those party supply stores out on the road somewhere, and I went and I found some gigantic big clown shoes. I mean, these guys were orange and yellow. Just plastic that you kind of put over your shoes.
Yeah.
They were
Yeah.
big, yellow, about a foot and a half long or something like that. And my butt was in the middle, and his was on the bottom. So
Okay.
I woke up first, and he was still in his bunk with his curtain closed. So I put those things on. I was sitting on the side of the bunk, swinging my feet. I was just looking out on the bridge, and all of a sudden I heard him moving around. And he popped his curtain, and so all he saw was those clown shoes. He said, "Derrick Boyd!" He would not come out of his bunk until I took those things off.
That is great. I've never heard that story, man. I've never heard that story. That's great.
Other than being a jokester and prankster, Derrick, do you have a hidden talent that most gospel music fans don't know anything about?
I enjoy a lot of things.
Yeah.
One thing that I don't get to do as much now. When I first retired, so to speak, I had a lot of time on my hands, and I like refinishing furniture.
Oh,
Um,
okay. Okay.
I like to antique things and
Yeah.
paint and antique, and I really like working with my hands, like doing the
Yeah.
refinishing and like that, and the finished product and stuff. But a lot of that stuff is very time consuming and takes a lot of preparation and stuff. And I don't have as much time as I'd like to, but I have an enjoyment of that. I never was a big hunter or fisher or whatever because I didn't ever have the time to do it. So,
Right.
but that's something I really enjoy doing. I enjoy sports. I'm a big football fan, basketball,
Yeah.
and all that. I'm a big football fan, obviously.
But let me ask you, this is not on our program, but Derrick, what kind of advice would you give for an up and coming, maybe a singer or musician who really wants to get into this industry? What would you, and you mentioned about the packet you had that you passed along years ago.
Yeah, I think it's still the same thing. I got some of those uh, gospel recordings. I mean, if you want to be a lead singer, makes good sense to me to get something with Brian Hudson on it, or Adam Parker, or some shoot for some good lead singer. If you want to be a baritone singer, get the Rodney Griffin or some of these new guys that are real good baritones, bass singers, tenors, whatever. Shoot for
Yeah.
some of the good ones. To and practice. Something Gary Shepard shared with me years before I even really got going about working out with weights on his diaphragm. That I can promise you over here on the side here, I got 25 pounds of weights that I need to get back to work with. Just lay on the floor and put on my diaphragm and practicing. And you still have to do that even after 40 years doing it.
Yeah.
And I have been doing it, especially trying to get over some of this thickness. But
Right.
you can practice and get yourself ready and prepared. But nowadays you have the great opportunity of getting online and looking
Yes.
and message anybody in the business and say, "Hey, are you looking for somebody? Let me send you something." We didn't have any of that back in the 80s.
Right. Right. Right.
But go to concerts, meet some guys, um, and ask some of them. Maybe you know guys like Brian did to me, and I've tried to do to others. Hopefully other people would take the time for them to say, "Hey, give me your name and number. Send me something." And
Yes.
I've known people help other people in other groups too.
Right. Right.
Many
And I,
times.
and to kind of add to what you're saying, I've even told young singers, you know, set a camera up, set your iPhone up in your church and sing and let somebody video you singing, because a lot of times, when a group is looking for somebody, they want to hear you, plus they want to see you. So with YouTube, you have the ability now, you can say, well, here's me singing Midnight Crier, here's me singing Oh What a Savior in my church, and they can go right there and see you, not just hear you sing, because in a studio you can make the world's worst singer sound like Michael Bublé. I mean, you can make anybody sound like anybody now. So they
That's
want to
right.
see you and hear you too. So yes,
That's right.
and I did the same thing. I made a little demo, a little cassette demo, and put a picture in there and a little write up, and I mailed it to every quartet or trio that I wanted to sing with back in the day. You know, I mailed it to everybody's office, and I even years after I'd been with the Kingsmen, I think Brock Spear come up to me one night at the convention. He said, "I think I've got a demo of you in my file cabinet in the Spears office." I said, "Yeah, I sent you one. Lord, I hope those disappeared. Hope none of those still exist, because it was probably pretty bad. You know what I'm saying? Back in the day, but
Well, Dwayne Burke told me the same thing I mentioned earlier. I sent one of those packages to
yeah,
Same
same American.
years after I was already in the business. I was with them one night, and he said, I remember you sending me one of those packages."
Yeah, yes,
Wow.
Absolutely. Let me say this. I don't know where our time is here
Oh,
tonight.
you're fine, man.
We're still talking about the Kingsmen and the days and fans and all this kind of thing. I can tell you one of the, and I'm not really doing this on purpose, but I am at the same time. One of the biggest Kingsman fans I've ever known, and one of the biggest Brian Hudson Kingsman fans I've ever known, was your brother Jimmy.
Yeah, yeah,
Ah, that guy was one of the biggest Kingsman fans
Yep.
yes, sir.
I've ever known. Actually, sometimes I know there was probably some guys that said, "Man, everything is about the Kingsman. Kingsman,
Yeah, yeah,
he was one
he was.
man." And he was very good MC. You could tell he was a Kingsman fan by the way he conducted himself.
Yeah,
MC.
right.
I'm telling you, he was a big Brian little brother fan. I
He
just had to
was.
say, loved. I sang with him twice.
Yes, sir.
He was a big
Yes.
Kingsman fan.
Well, and I will say this, you got to travel with, Philip Hughes for a
Yep.
while
Yeah.
in the Anchorman, And,
Yeah.
Philip passed away about 2 weeks after my brother did. And, yeah, of course, when you were singing with Philip, it wasn't the Kingsmen or Carolina Boys, it was Anchorman. But give us a thought on Philip Hughes, because Philip Hughes to me was one of the greatest guys I'd ever travel with. So give me a thought on Philip, if you don't care.
I really don't care. I truly loved Philip. Between your brother and Philip, darn near wiped me out.
Yeah.
I mean, it really bothered me, and I was sick enough that I couldn't get to either service. I mean, I couldn't drive myself. I couldn't go any distance. I just didn't have any stamina, and I didn't know why. And I'm telling you, about wiped me out. But Philip, well, I can't. You can't do Philip without talking about it. He said, I ain't the best in the world, but I'll put the party in.
Yeah. That's what he said. That's what he said. Yeah.
I put the party in, and he said, and I'll look daggone good doing it too.
Yeah. Philip was Philip, when
Oh,
you
man.
when you and Philip sang together, when you guys sang together, it was a full time. Let me tell you, y'all dressed
Yeah.
to the nines, always, always.
But he loved it.
You know,
He he loved to dress, and I'd go shop. We go shopping sometime, and I'm down there. He stay right here. He said, I'll stay here as long as you will. He said, I don't mind. But I remember one time when I was with the anchor, I was sharing a testimony or something, and I saw a
Yeah.
different side to Philip than people did. He was a cut and a prankster and
yeah, he was.
all those kind of things too. But I went to him one night and I said, "Man, I apologize. I got a little carried away tonight, and I went a little bit long speaking." He said, "Buddy, don't you ever apologize for that."
Yeah.
He said,
Yeah.
"As long as I'll stand back here and amen you all night long, as long as I know you're where you need to be."
That's exactly
He
right.
said, "Now, if you are who you say you are," he said, "the moment that I don't believe that," he said, "I ain't gonna amen you." But
Yeah.
I'm your biggest cheerleader back here. Don't you worry about me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And uh, he's something else. But I tell you something, and I ran across the letter just a couple of weeks ago. I kept it. I got in dire straits one time. I don't even remember what it was, and I didn't drop a hint or anything. He was just. I was talking about might have been some bills or something that
Yeah.
particular week. Something. I wasn't dropping anything out there. I don't even know that he was paying attention. And it was but just a week or so later, I got a letter from him in the mail,
Okay.
and I've got that piece of paper in there. He said, "But it ain't much. I wish it could be more." But he sent me $300.
Wow.
That's only happened a couple of times in my career, and one of them was from that rascal. And I'm telling you,
Yeah.
I saw it the other day, and I just
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a good man, man. He was Philip was such an encourager. I mean, he would just call you up just to encourage you. And because, a lot of times, we go through situations and we feel like, man, nobody else cares. Nobody,
Mhm.
I'm just spinning my wheels. But Philip always, he was such an encourager and just giving you a pat on the back. And sometimes that's what you need. Sometimes,
Yep.
especially us guys, we kind of need encouragement on occasion. And Philip was always great about that.
you got upset about something, but don't sweat it.
That's
Don't
right.
sweat it. Don't sweat it. Now he loves some classic country, boy. He loved to listen
Yeah.
to some old country.
He loved Gene Watson, man. He loved Gene Watson. That's who he
That's
loved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. We appreciate you being our special guest tonight on Behind the Crown podcast. Appreciate your time with the Kingsmen. Like I said, that radio album during the Carolina Boy days was one of my favorite albums ever done by the Kingsmen.
I
Your
appreciate that.
vocals on there with Ray Dean and Randy Crawford and Tim Sherp. Man, you can't beat that lineup. And y'all had a great sound. I appreciate you, sir.
Appreciate this opportunity. It's meant the world to me that you all ask, and it's time's moving on, guys. It's hard to believe that that's been about 24 years ago, man. Next 24,
Yeah.
I hope. I'll be looking at 85 and still trying to get my hair right and get a suit on.
Well, you'll still have some hair. That's the awesome thing.
Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to hold it in there.
That's like me. I've got now this is just for men light brown. What this is, number 35, just for men light brown on here. and I put a little hair color on it just today,
Yeah.
today. One of these days,
Oh,
I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna let it go one day because I'm Snow White. I mean, I'm Q-tip color. That's my
Yeah.
natural
really?
color is Q-tip. Oh yeah. And my wife says, "Honey, just let it go." I said, "I'm not ready." I said, "But,"
Yeah.
I said, "I'll know when it's time for me to just let it go."
Yeah.
But here's the thing, Derek. You said you're 65. I'm 29. I tell my granddaughters, but
Wow.
we still got a full head of hair. You know what I'm saying? It may turn white, but it ain't turning loose. So that's what I'm
That's
saying.
right. Amen for that. I'll hold on to it as long as I can, brother.
That's right. Well, Derek, man, thank you for joining us
Oh,
tonight, brother, on the podcast, and you take care of yourself, and we'll talk again sometimes. Because what we want to do, we're gonna, as part of this season of the podcast, we're gonna uh, do special episodes dedicated to iconic songs.
yeah.
So we're gonna
Yeah.
do songs like the Glory Road, No Ship of Zion. So we may call
Yeah.
you back and have you come on and talk about some of the songs like Glory Road and Look for Me at Jesus Week, some of the songs you were able to sing and kind of give your perspective on some of those songs. So we'd love to have you back on sometime.
Yeah.
Even this one a little bit. I fortunately got to sing with Conrad Cook several times.
Yes, sir.
Last times I did was in Hickory, North Carolina. I found out after I found my birth family. That's where I was born, is in Hickory, North Carolina.
Wow. Okay.
I did that until I was 40. So I was singing there and singing the Glory Road. Here he comes strutting out on the stage, and singing with me. And he had
Yeah.
told me before, but he told me that night, he said, Brother Derek, he said, I believe about my favorite singer on my song. So I went around for the next year or so, but
Yeah.
Conrad Cook said I was his favorite.
Wow.
Man,
Son, that's high cotton right there.
my head, you couldn't get my head was full until I found out
Uh-oh.
every tenor that sang the Glory Road was his favorite singer.
Oh,
Yeah.
gotcha. Okay.
Just like a songwriter.
Yeah.
It is. That's good, man. That's good.
Thanks, guys. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us, brother.
Appreciate
Thank you, everyone, for joining on this episode of Behind the Crown podcast. Be sure to like and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Also, listen to the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music, and all major podcast streaming platforms. We're also on YouTube. Be sure to like and subscribe to us on there.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Behind the Crown podcast with your hosts, Brian Hudson and Josh Griffin. If you would, please like, rate, and share this episode. Join us again for another episode of the Behind the Crown podcast.